Wow, that's a lot of nice things, and I really appreciate it. And a few people to thank for sure. President Simon and Dr. Roy. We've gotten to know them a little bit over the years, and there's tremendous people and great Spartans. And as she said, it's good to be coming back home again. Mark Hollis and Shelley Applebaum in the athletics director's office. We've spent a fair amount of time here in the last couple weeks and discussing a lot of different things, and it's been enlightening and makes me proud to be a Spartan to see how things are run around here and the family atmosphere. So thanks to them very much, the board of trustees and especially Melanie for coming out and the kind words as well. It's like I said, it's nice to be around this kind of people, and I always found whether it was when I was playing or coaching, that it's the people that you're around. The money, the city, things really don't matter. If you're around good people, everything works, and it just ends up being a great experience. And certainly that's something that I'm finding here with the staff has been unbelievable today, and the other coaches coming out to meet, and you can see the the family type atmosphere it is of them stopping by and meeting the players, and a lot of emotions stepping back in the MSU locker room, and it was all I could do not to bust out into the fight song in the middle of the room there, but it's always on my mind. I did want to thank everyone at USA Hockey, and all the things that I just said about the people here is equally true there. David O'Green, our director, and Jim Johansson and Scott Monahan, who I worked with daily for 7 years. Just the people are outstanding there. It is a wonderful place to work. It's a wonderful place to be and grow as a coach and just learn a lot about life. But their wisdom, their advice, and especially their friendship just means an awful lot to me. Just great people. And it was going to take a really special place for me to leave a really special place, and that's what I'm looking at here, obviously. A few years after I was done playing hockey, I was coaching in Grand Rapids, and I don't know if George is here, he's sitting across the desk from me, and we had a good team, and we were a little over 100 points. I think we were in the Western Conference Finals, and he was talking about it. And I think in the minors, most guys, want to end up coaching in the NHL. And I was my 3rd or 4th year coaching, and George asked me about that. If hey, maybe coach the Red Wings someday. And I remember saying it, and I've said it to a lot of people since. I said that'd be nice, but I really would love to go back someday. And Coach Mason was, so I was not trying to push him out, but. Said would love to go back there someday, and it's been on my mind, and certainly the timing has to be right for these things, and sometimes in life it works out, sometimes it doesn't, and that's a lesson, and that's things that young men have to learn, and you go through it. But when great things happen, it's a wonderful thing, and again, I can't be more thankful for that. I'd like to, some of the coaches that have been here before me, I knew Amo. I was here long enough ago and used to skate at Dem Hall and got a chance to meet him. And he didn't come around much when I was playing, but he'd pop up from Florida and visit his brother Pete every once in a while, and just a tremendous man. And then obviously fortunate to play for Coach Mason, and what an influence he had on all of our lives, all the guys that played for him and other people obviously around the community. He didn't. He didn't talk to us a lot when we played here. It was interesting. He coached a lot. We learned a lot. But when you left and you moved on, there was no bigger advocate or mentor. And just staying in contact with him over the years. And again, like Amo down in Florida, it must be where coaches go when they're done at Michigan State, is down in Florida. But just calling him on a Tuesday night, and he'd start talking about the power play, and it's just hit go, and it'd be 40 minutes later, and he'd be giving you all kinds of different ideas. So, certainly a special man in a lot of our lives. And then, Coach Conley came in and won, with our 3rd national title, and did great things. And Rick's still scouting, and get to see him a lot. And I'd be remiss too if I didn't thank Coach Anastas and what he's done. A great Spartan. And did a lot of great things, and I texted with him earlier today and look forward to spending some time with him and keeping him involved in as we go through, and to build on some of the things that they got started here. There's some great things here, some places that we want to get to. And what needs to be done is going to take a little bit of time. Might not be the least painful thing, but nothing worth achieving ever is. And it's a lot of hard work, and I thank Tom for the blood, sweat, and tears that he's put into this program since he was a student athlete here until and into the future. And few things, our plan. It's important to have a plan and moving forward for the next 12 months, and it starts with maintaining and building on the culture and the type of program that we want to have here about excellence. And I know I like Mark's comment that he has on his thing, energy and excite, and that's what MSU hockey should be. It should bring that to the university, and it should be something that is one of the front porches, something that people want to be a part of. Everybody wants to be a part of something great, and that's what Michigan State hockey is. Secondly, we'll identify, recruit, and sign elite players to come here and to join the guys that are already here. And the pressure will be on them to get that momentum going and to teach those young guys when they come in so they can take over for them. That excellence on and off the ice is very important. Third, we've got to engage the community, the students, the fans. Mount Ice Arena was a snake pit. And that's how it's got to be. It's got to be a hard place to come in and win. You want it to be on the other team's pre-scout, that when they come and play at Mount Ice Arena, they better be ready. The crowd's going to be on them. It's going to be loud. If you put my picture up there like it is now, it's not very intimidating, but that board can be intimidating. That's way too big and way too much. Hopefully that's the last time that happens. And that's how Mun was. I think Shelley and Mark and I were talking earlier. It was when I was coming through here, there's 320 sellouts, and that's a goal, that's a vision, that's the plan that we have to implement. And fourth, and last but not least, Mun is I love coming here and walking around, and whenever kids and I would visit, walking through and year over year, seeing the changes that have been made on the concourse level, and like I said, the screen and the lighting. I played on these old boards, and they were old and they were wood, and they were separated shoulder boards. AC can probably tell you, thank God, that new boards, new ice system. There's a lot there, and MSU's put a lot into this, and they'll continue to put a lot into it. And I was talking with Chuck Sleeper today, and this Spartan Fund project to keep Mun world class and keep building forward is really, really important, and that's on the vision of what we need to get done. So. It's an unbelievable situation. I'm incredibly honored. I do want to mention, I never try and go through a speech without mentioning my family, my mom and dad and sister are all MSU graduates. They couldn't, they're in different parts of the country, couldn't make it here today, but great Spartans and really happy. My wife and two of my three daughters, my one daughter has a job interview down in Atlanta today, so she couldn't make it, but Ashton and Peyton are here, and my lovely wife Debbie, and I'll steal a joke from Judd. We've been married 26 years. I've been married happily for 26. I think Deb's been married happily for about 15. But I'm not always the smartest guy in the room, but the smartest thing I did was tricking Deb into marrying me, and she's been a great partner, and she's a coach's wife with everything that entails, and moving and picking up and taking care of the girls and all the business when I'm gone. And we got great kids, and that's a direct reflection on her. So, and last but not least, I'm just really, really, truly looking forward to moving ahead with these guys that are standing over there, everyone on campus, and getting Spartan hockey moving ahead. I can't say enough and can't thank enough people. So appreciate it, and let's get to work. So.
We'll now open it up to questions for Coach Cole. We've got 2 mics. Raise your hand. We'll bring them around for you.
Dan, you're in a unique position in the fact that you get to now coach guys that you coached against. What was your thoughts, because you were a Spartan, when you watched these guys on film and prepped for them?
One thing I talked to the guys in the locker room, I really thought the main thing, you can't get off of square one as a coach if there's not effort, if there's not hard work, if there's not pride and passion. And I was able to DVR games and Coach Luongo and myself working together with Michigan State guys so we could pull the games up. But I liked the battle. I thought they kept fighting. I thought there was tons of good stuff there. And if you have to try and instill that into a team, boy, that's a long project. That's something that you need to have. So I was real impressed with that. They're young. We'll just keep working on it. Hockey, some of the intangibles, stuff that you can't coach, toughness, hard work, and all that, and hustle, all that stuff has to be there to start with, and these guys got it.
Danton, we're here. Here you go. Little guy right here.
Hey, Fred. What's going on?
How you doing? Congratulations.
Thanks.
I want to confirm that you won't live in the dorm this time? Right.
I won't. No, no. 1 years and wonders was enough. That's that was plenty. I saw it on TV. They were doing the UMTV cribs or whatever that thing is, and following the guys around. It hasn't really changed a heck of a lot. So no,
on a more serious note, when this job came out, you've been quoted as saying this was your dream job. When it came open again 3 years ago, how long did it take for you to tell your family, your wife, yourself, that this is the job and now's the time?
Not long. We certainly, follow the program, and really, like I said, I hadn't really been looking for, anything. I figured if something special would come up, it would come up. My youngest is a senior this year in high school, so we've moved our kids around an awful lot, and Ashton, who's here, moved before her senior year, and that's not an easy thing. So we'd always kind of timeline-wise said, we'll start looking when Peyton is, finishing up her senior year, and hey, the timing was right, and you go after it. If it's something you want, you go after it. You work for it, and like I said earlier, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But that doesn't mean you don't put the effort and the battle into it. And this time it did, and like I said, the family and I couldn't be happier.
Dan, over here. Obviously you wanted this 6 years ago. The experience with USA Hockey, how different a coach are you now? How much more prepared are you for this opportunity? Yeah,
the NTDP is an interesting place. I think it's amazing. It's still a bit of a secret for, I think, how good it is for players. It's amazing how little a lot of people in hockey know about it and what the guys go through and the benefits. I think maybe more underestimated is what a great place it is to coach. I mean, it is a candy store for coaches. You get to, the challenge every day there. The year change from the 17 year, which is tremendously hard on the young men. You're trying to motivate them and figure out you play 55 games, and really probably 10 to 15 are games that you probably should win. The rest, if you're in them, you're kind of lucky. So the motivation factor, the teaching, having a 2-year plan, a lot of us guys that have coached there before and moved on, Mike Eves was at Wisconsin, and Jeff Jackson, who started the program in Notre Dame, and John Hines, who's coaching in Jersey, Ronnie Ralston, just some really great guys, and all the stories are the same. It feels like 3 years of coaching every year there. So, if you're not learning and getting better, I don't care where you're at. If you're not, Mike Babcock likes to say R&D is rob and do. If you're not stealing stuff and implementing it, shame on you. But from a learning standpoint, it's a tremendous place to be, and the talent you have, and the opportunity to teach and learn and spend 2 years with men there is truly outstanding. So. Like I said, I just try and squeeze as much out as I can every opportunity I have wherever I'm at coaching. And again, if you're not learning, you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So.
Dan, looking at where this program is right now with the guys that Tom had committed, I mean, what's your plan with those guys? Do you plan on honoring those commitments, or is it something that you need to reevaluate it? And also, I guess from that talent standpoint, how critical is having that USHL experience with the national program the past year to identify guys maybe that are off the national radar?
Yeah, going through the recruits and all that'll take some time. I talked with Coach Newton and spend a little time and see where they're all at. There's publications. I'd like to know exactly who's where or who's offered what, and the current guys I know, the incoming guys I know, but after that I'd like to get a little better read on where all that's at. But coaching in the USHL, being part of the national program, it's a fascinating thing. Like, we start tracking guys. Our staff, we've got about 10 guys that work for us, start tracking guys at 13 or 14. Unfortunately, I don't think it's anything anybody in the game likes, or in basketball and football, everything's getting younger. But it is a good process to know. It's good to know who the players are in it, who you know, the guys that have a good feel for what's going on, and the connections with, you know, it used to be midget and junior coaches. I mean, you're starting a lot younger now. So now it's Bantam coaches and people running those organizations. So it's been good to be part of that process, being at the festivals, seeing where, you know, the good players are coming from, and knowing what they're attracted to. So I think it gives us a good head start. Certainly, you know, those are level players that we're going to be recruiting, and there's a lot of guys like Patrick Kodorenko that are darn good players that need to be Spartans, and we'll just continue on with that. But it's a good base of knowledge, and it's invaluable being there and knowing how things work, I think.
Dan, your staff, have you assembled who you're going to bring in with you yet, or do you have a time frame and when you plan to do that, please?
I hope to have things settled down here fairly soon, within the next you know, week and a half or so, and certainly I got to spend some time with the guys that are on staff now and kind of go through some things. So I don't think it'll be real long, but you know, we'll move through it. I don't want to be in a rush to fail on anything. I think it's important to get things right and do them in the right process, and we're moving forward, and it might not be as quick right now, but we'll get there.
Dan, Jason Ruff, Impact Sports Radio. What do you think will be your biggest challenge coming into a job like this, not only for yourself but also for your eventual staff?
How do I phrase it? I don't want to say this the right way. The time frame that the NCAA has on you. I don't want to say the NCAA is the biggest challenge. That wouldn't sound right. But just the time frame that you have. So when you're limited in the time you can spend with the student athletes until, you know, they go home in 3 weeks, and then over the summer if they're not here, and then when you get back, really it's a you know, 1 week, you know, real good ramp up to the first game. So, you know, there's going to be some changes structurally in how we play and how we attack the game, and that'll the trick of implementing that'll be will be interesting. But that's probably the hardest part, and getting that there. And then year over year, it's a little easier. You know, you do change stuff to fit the team and to fit the athletes you have, what's best for them. But if you have 15 or 16 guys coming back, you know, now the 5 or 6 freshmen come in, and there's 15 coaches on the ice. They know what's going on. They can help them get through the drills, and the you know, the pattern of learning rises exponentially in that way. So we're going to be a lot like we are in the 17 year. At the NTDP, where everyone's starting from square one, and we're all learning, which also can be a strength. I mean, that's exciting. That's learning. You're in, you know, if your mind's in that right area, that hey, I'm open and I'm learning and I'm working and things are moving forward, you can accomplish an awful lot. So strengths can be weaknesses, weaknesses can be strengths, but we'll make them strengths.
We'll do 3 more at the podium, starting with Neil.
Dan, how would you describe your style of play as far as like what you want to bring in and implement into this system?
You know. I think as a coach, and it's some of the better advice you get, you know, and you talk to guys like Scotty Bowman and Coach Mason and guys like that, you have to be yourself, and the team kind of takes an extension of that. And I'm not a heck of a lot different than I was as a player. I mean I'm aggressive, I'm ornery. I want to impose my will physically and mentally on the other team, and that's what our team has to be. But you have to have that attitude that you're not giving up an inch out there, and you never lose. You either win or you learn a lesson, and then you move on from there, and you pick yourself up, you pick your teammates up. I just believe. I mean, you know, if you look up, you can go on Google and say, hey, what are the Spartan attributes? Or you look at what Vince Lombardi said in terms of defense and in pride and Spartanism. I love that he used that phrase. I mean, that's how I think you have to go at the game of hockey. It's an aggressive game, offensively and defensively, and it's exciting when it's played that way. It can be 2-1, it can be 10-9, although I don't like 10-9 games as a coach, but the game can be exciting if it's played the right way, and that's what it's up to. And these guys want to go on and play at the next level. They want to be, you know, NHL players. There's a lot they have to learn, and playing it that way and being a pro and playing it that way every day. So kind of long answer, but I believe there's a certain way the game should be played.
Dan, one of the things that obviously with college hockey right now is the debate, older guys versus younger guys. You've obviously been on the other end of the spectrum with the younger guys. How do you view the recruiting right now for what you're envisioning on the ice for you guys?
Yeah, I think a decent mix of that is you know, if you look through some of the teams where there's going to be guys, and let's talk about some of the guys that I've coached over the years, that two are at BU, you know, Clayton Keller and Jack Eichel they're in for a year and they're out, and that's the state of the game. The guys are, you know, 1, 2, and 3-year players quite a bit right now. There's also guys that you know are a little bit older and, you know, might take a little longer to percolate, and maybe 4-year guys. So I think you need a combination. I think if you go too far at one end, you get whipsawed where, you know, you end up with an empty bench and you don't have enough guys. So I think a competitive balance in there. I think, but there's certainly room. We want guys that come here, and if they're here like Dylan Larkin was up the road at U of M, who's a good friend of mine and a fabulous young man. If he's here for a year and that's what it is, that's good. And we'll find another guy to come in and take that spot. And the same thing for the guys. But I think a good mix is essential. And if you look at the teams that you know, have won the national championship the past few years, you know, President Simon was talking about Denver. I mean, look at their mix. I mean, they've got Will Butcher, won the Hobey Baker Award winner, played for us at the Pro. Won a gold medal with him a long time ago. You know, he's a 4th-year senior, wins the Hobey Baker Award, and is a draft pick. There are guys like that, and then there's other guys. They've got a few that are probably going to be gone after 1 year. But, you know, you want that mix, you want that intangible, and you also want to be a place where elite guys are going to come and know they can develop and move on when the time is right.
We have one final one over here.
Coach, 3 years from now, what do you hope people are saying about this Michigan State program?
That was a hell of a first-round win in the Big Ten, and they won the Big Ten title and made a heck of a dent in the NCAAs. I'm not big on saying, hey, this year this year that, this year that. I'm more impressed and influenced by systems, but, you know, let's put a system in place here of excellence. Put a system in place that the guys have the opportunity to excel. Have a system in place that we're always moving forward. You know, and if there's a little bump, it doesn't matter. That you look past that. It's going forward. So, and that's culture. That's program. That I think that's what the university believes in, and then that's what we have to have. But hey, at the end of the day, that's where we want to be. And I'd even say you know, hey, we want to start winning Big Ten playoff rounds. We want to start winning Big Ten championships. And you get in the NCAA, you're 4 wins away. You know, you get a hot goalie and you can ride it out. And that's where we want to be in that conversation every year. And then you know, finally have a team that, you know, the people and the student body and look at it and say, man, they're good academically, they're good off the ice, and they're really good on the ice. I mean, that's a trifecta, but that's where we need to be.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming today.